been talking about foundations, and we're talking about the essence of what we need to do to help keep ourselves in balance. And we talked about 4 elements. So today, can you tell us a little bit about that 5th element that some people may not be as familiar with?
It's a wonderful question, Kimberly Ann, and I would love to talk about the 5th element. In Sanskrit, we call it Akash. And in English, that would translate to ether. And, you know, having studied chemistry, feels like, oh, the ether from a chemistry lab. But ether is also space. And that is the 5th element. That is your 5th chakra, if we talk about the chakra system. When we talked about the 4 elements, there's earth, water, fire, air. You know, those are your 4 energy centers as you ascend your sushumna or your spinal canal or your central nervous system. And the 5th chakra or the 5th element is in your throat center, which gives you the power to speak your purpose with passion. And yeah, that is the 5th element. It is Akash, it is ether, it is space.
Excellent. So we talked a little bit about how the elements can get out of balance. So what types of things do you see when that 5th element is out of balance in people?
Oh, the 5th element is always in balance if the bottom 4 are not in balance. So let's go back a little bit to the 4 elements. Earth is the foundation, okay? You cannot build on water, you cannot build on fire, you cannot build on air. You cannot build in space. You can build in, you know, in space out there. You have to build on earth. And once the foundation, the earth is strong, it's in balance, you are stable, you have a definite structure, you have a rhythm to your life, then you transcend the earth and come to water and work with the water energy, your emotions. Emotions in English, it is spelled as E-motion. So your energy in motion. So when your energy is in motion, you flow in life. And when your energy is not in motion, that is when you have aches and pains. It hurts. And where does it hurt? Where do you have the pain? Where do you actually experience the pain? In the physical realm, in your earth body. And when you talk about your earth body, you might be like, oh, is this my earth body? No, this body has all 5 elements in it. But your earth body is comprised of 4 aspects. You can think of like a 4-wheeled car. So you have your finances, your career, the work you do. And remember, the work you do is not related to the money you have. A lot of people make a lot of money, but they don't get to keep the money. So your finances is separate from the work you do. And then you have your relationships. And relationships could be like when I start working with someone, I take it, you know, your intimate relationships, your romantic relationships, your personal relationships, your familial relationships, your professional relationships, your communal relationships, your relationship with celebrities. You know, there's so many kinds of relationships, but relationships, a broad category, is the 3rd wheel. And the 4th wheel is your physical health. So that is your foundation, that is your earth body. So when emotions are flowing, it is great in your earth body. All 4 wheels of the car are inflated as per recommendation by the manufacturer and the car is moving. But when emotions are blocked or clogged and not flowing as they are supposed to, one area of your life may be hurting. And you could move on with a limp, you know, let's say you have 1 deflated tire and the car will still move. But when you have 2 deflated tires, it'll limp a little bit, and 3 deflated tires, there is no way it's going to move. So all areas of your life, your work, your finances, your relationships, and your physical health are equally important. No one is more important than the other. You cannot sacrifice your relationships for your health, or your health for your finances, or your finances for your career. You cannot sacrifice anything. Everyone needs to have equal importance so that the car moves. So then you come to your emotions and and when everything is working in your life, aren't you flowing? Don't you feel good? Don't you feel okay? Don't you have peace, joy, love, equanimity? When that is when your emotions are flowing, what happens is you transcend and come to the place of your power. You feel powerful. It's basically like Maslow's laws of hierarchical needs. You know, you feel powerful, you have status, you have a position in society, your family respects you, your parents, your neighbors, your colleagues, all of them think good about you. And because they think good about you, you feel good about yourself. That's the fire element, your passion. You are able to be charitable. You know, you don't just think about yourself, you think about your neighbors and the birds, the bees, whatever you're passionate about, you work towards that.
So that's all absolutely amazing information. Thank you for sharing it. I do have a question for you. So are you saying then that when the emotions create some sort of disturbance, you use the metaphor of the car, that's going to come out in our physical body? So would you say that that relates to illnesses that people feel, whether those be a physical illness, a mental illness? Can you talk a little bit more about that and how that shows up for people? Maybe give some examples.
Okay, so this now goes into what we would call mind-body connection. And any part of the body that is hurting, that is aching somewhere, I always know what's going on at the emotional and at the mental level. Like if you have skin issues, there are boundaries. What is skin? It's boundaries. If you have shoulder issues, it's responsibilities. If you have right shoulder issues, it's financial responsibility. If you have left shoulder issues, it's emotional responsibilities. If you have right knee issues, it's guidance, financial guidance. If you have left knee issues, it is emotional guidance. If you have right ankle, so any part of the body. If you have hip issues, there are people who are not dancers, who are not athletes, but they have hip issues. What is that? That is sexual frustration. And sexual frustration can happen to men, women, anyone. You know, you're having a baby when you don't want a baby. You can't have a baby when you want a baby. It's your creativity, it's your family center. So any part of the body that is aching, that is hurting, and the symptoms are showing up, the root cause is always in the emotions. And you can go deeper into that. It's in your thought process. It's the thoughts you think. And yesterday we talked about NLP. So it's the thoughts we think that create the emotions, and the emotions we feel that affect the physical reality.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So can you just keep walking us up? You were walking us back to that fifth element.
Yes. So when we have all this passion and, you know, about things we believe in, like today's St. Francis's Day. So if you're a Catholic at heart, like I grew up a Catholic, for me, you know, St. Francis is a very, very, very dear one. You know, of course, there's Father Pio, and then there's Jesus and all that kind of good stuff. But so I believe in the charity, and I do something for the charity. Okay, so that comes from the fire element. But I cannot do it on my own. Let's say I believe in the oaks of Southern California. I don't know what to do about that. I have to go look for some charity, some foundation that is doing something about it, and go and either offer my services, offer my time, offer my connections, offer money, something like that. That is fire element. But when you transcend that and come to the air element, when the air element is flowing very nicely, very healthy way, you are inspired. You can start your own charity. You can start your own foundation. You know what to do. You know, you will go, you know, get 2 loaves of bread, put peanut butter jelly, and go ride your bicycle to the area where homeless people live and go distribute it. You know, that is people with very good air element, healthy air. They do things on their own. They don't wait for someone to tell them or something to show up on their screen to say, okay, donate your money here. They go and do it on their own. So that is, you know, inspiration that comes from healthy air. And when you have all those 4 in balance, that is when you transcend and you come to your throat chakra, you know, in your meditative state, and you have access to the 5th element. And that is when you meditate, you know, when you meditate and you get into, we call it the Akash element. And there are various layers, you know, there are like 5 layers, some say 7, some say 14, and during meditation, when you experience the bliss, like when the 5th chakra is in balance, because you have worked on the lower 4 chakras, from your heart, you come to your throat, you are able to speak your truth without any fear. Because one of the things about speaking truth is truth hurts, and absolute truth hurts absolutely. But so how can you speak your truth and not hurt the other person? It is when you come from love. You come from love. Like a mother may yell at her kids, but the kids know mommy still loves me, you know? Why? Because it's a fact, it's a guarantee. They don't doubt it. And that is because the heart chakra is open. And now when you are speaking your truth, you're coming from love. So you're speaking from your heart to their heart, and from their heart, what they speak, you hear with your heart. So hearing is really not your ear job, it is a heart job. And then when you have practiced it and you have honed on it and you have mastered it, you can come to your throat and speak with in a way that you feel heard.
So are you saying then that people are connecting you're saying people are connecting from their heart to heart? Are you saying they're sensing the intention, not just the words of what's being said?
Yeah, it's the energy behind the words. Yes, it's the intention behind the words. It's not just regurgitated information. It is like truly your experience, your knowledge, your wisdom. And if I may be brave enough to say that God is speaking through you.
Absolutely, absolutely. That divine spark comes out,
Mm-hmm.
and people sense it, whether they recognize what exactly it is or not. That's a different topic. So let's dig in a little bit more with the fifth element. So you mentioned, meditation. Do you find that is the best way to access that fifth element?
Yes. Now, there are many kinds of meditation. That's a whole new topic. Yeah. But if you have learned meditation from a realized master, from a teacher, like this morning I was mentioning Yogananda, who is my teacher. And this is again tradition that comes from India, where you have the teacher student, the guru and the disciple relationship. So your guru takes care of you and guides you on the path. He or she, you can say. Because guru is not a human being. Guru is a guiding principle that allows you to hold space for you to take the gross matter and release it into the light, like transcend, transform. And once you transform, it is like what happens to the butterfly, because the caterpillar has to die for the butterfly to be born. Our ego dies for our spirit to shine. And when you can get into that space, and that definitely happens through regular practice of meditation. It's just like brushing your teeth. I always go back to brushing our teeth, because it is something you have to do every day. Ideally, you should do it every time you put something in your mouth and you're done with your meal. You better go brush your teeth and make sure your teeth is clean, because otherwise what's happening as the food is getting digested in your stomach, the food particles left in your mouth is decaying your gums, right? So similarly, meditation is like that. Or you can think of a cell phone. A cell phone, every day it goes around, you do whatever, as many apps as you want, you run on it. And the fewer apps you run, the longer the battery will stay charged. And the more apps you run, the sooner you will drain it. So human life is just like that. The more external your life is, you have to run errands, take care of your kids, your colleagues, your partner, your business, your pets, your neighborhood chores, you drain out. So the best way to recharge is not caffeine. I honest to God swear, it is not caffeine. The best way to recharge is through meditation. If you can meditate, you don't need caffeine. You don't need alcohol. You can run on the energy that the sun has. You can run on the energy that all the planets and the stars have. You can literally run on that divine inspiration and spark, and be a magic in your own life and a miracle in someone else's.
And I think there were 2 points that you just made that I really wanted to go back to. One is meditation, like you said. We're going to talk about that in another episode in great depth. So that is definitely a key. The other thing that I think you said I want to make sure that people didn't miss, because it was really important, is that keeping these elements in balance, all 5 of them in balance, it takes work and it takes practice. Just like you said, like brushing your teeth. You don't brush your teeth once and it's not one and done. And I think that I think people need to understand there's no shortcut. There's no shortcut to doing these things. It's doing the practice and doing the repetition and the repetition, and then the transformation occurs. But even once it does, it's still a continual process. And I think it's important for people to embrace that. Do you have any more thoughts on that aspect of it?
Yes. So think of a wealthy man. What is the first thing he does? He does whatever he can to take care of his wealth. There are so many books out there which tells you that it's not the money you make that will make you wealthy. It's the money you get to keep. Similarly, with spiritual energy, you can bring in all the energy you want, but then if you don't know how to retain your energy, how to sustain your spiritual growth, you will squander it. Like, people reach a certain level and they have some intuitive powers, some psychic powers, and then they get a high from that, and that's it, and they stop in life. And then guess what happens? They start going downhill. And I don't know, Plato or Socrates, somebody said that if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So if you are not evolving and growing spiritually, then you are going downhill, you know? So you need to work on it every day. Think of your spiritual energy as the money you have. You have, just earning the money won't keep the money for you. You have to focus on even saving, you have to focus on investing, making money work for you. Similarly, spiritual energy. Just meditating and feeling good isn't enough. You have to keep on meditating so you can sustain the level you have attained, because it's gravity. Like I said, we go up, but if you're not working on going up, you'll go down. You know, like the rocket, it has to work on going up. But then there comes a time when it goes beyond the gravitational pull, you know, like enlightened masters who attain samadhi, like Yogananda, my guru Hariharananda, Jesus, Buddha, all of them, they attained that state. Like St. Francis, they attained that state where they went beyond gravity, beyond the attraction of food, sex, you know, power, attachments, you know, even the need to speak. They transcended all of that. And so they never come down. But unless you attain that level of samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, which is called the breathless, pulseless state, you have to keep working. And even those masters keep doing it just to inspire us. And they do it for our sake. Most teachers, most masters will tell you that if you don't have time to meditate, just think of me and I will meditate for you. So you stay connected to the transformer and you keep, you know, drawing in that energy.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's a fantastic point. If you're not working on going up, then you're going to be going down, whether that's your intention or not. I mean, and even Jesus took time to go to the desert, pray, go to the mountains and be in silence and do whatever, you know, he needed to do to recharge, because, you know, it is very inspiring and it's a message. I think the thing I took away from what you're just saying is the fact that it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. And I think when we embrace it that way, then we're sort of helping ourselves to understand that we can keep these elements in balance as well, as long as we make it a priority for ourselves and we make it a lifestyle. And we put those, for each of us, whatever it is, we put those pieces in place that are going to enable us to stay in balance. And we're awake enough to realize when we're not and get the assistance, or if we need it, to get ourselves back in balance.
Yes.
If I could be anywhere, I'd be here with you, sharing our healing hearts, our hope and our truth. Joy overflows here at the crossroads. Here at the crossroads. Oh, here at the crossroads. crossroads.